Hello everyone, welcome. Introduction to C++. C++. What is C++? Well, it is a high-level programming language. So, C is also a high-level programming language, right? So, when we have a C, what is the necessity of C++? Why do we need C++ when we already have a C program, which is also a high-level programming language? How C++ is different from C? Well, they say that C is a procedural oriented language and C++ is an object oriented language. And this diagram represents a typical structure of an procedural oriented language, which means C. In procedural oriented language, instructions are organized into groups known as functions. Data items are placed as local and global variables. In large programs, global data are more vulnerable because it is very difficult to identify what data is used by what function. Another serious drawback with the procedural approach is that it does not model real-world problems very well. Object-oriented programming. Unlike procedural programming, OOPS treats data as a critical element in the program development and does not allow it to flow freely around the system. It ties data more closely to the function that operate on it and protects it from accidental modification from the outside function. Let's see the diagram. In this diagram, the program is categorized or divided into objects, and each object has its own data and functions. And the data of one object is not shared with another object, but the functions of the both objects are communicating with each other. Basic concepts of OOPS. OOPS is the acronym of Object-Oriented Programming System. So, what are the basic concepts of OOPS? They are objects, classes, data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, message passing. Objects are the basic runtime entities in an object-oriented system. They may represent a person, a place, a bank account, a table of data, or any item that the program has to handle. Mostly, the objects will be a real world entity. Here, in this example, they have shown an object named as student, and this student object has a set of data and functions. Functions are nothing but the functions operates on the data of that particular object. Here, for the student object, some data which is specified here are name, date of birth, marks, and functions are total to perform the calculation of total based on the data available, and average, and display. Display is used to display the marks and average or whatever the calculation has been done. Using the display function, all the operations and the result will be displayed to the user. Class. A class is a collection of objects similar types. For example, mango, apple, and orange, members of class fruit. Let's say an example. If fruit has been defined as a class, then the statement fruit mango will create an object named as mango under the class fruit. Another basic concept of OOPS are data abstraction and encapsulation. The wrapping up of data and function into a single unit, which is called as class, is known as an encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but binding the data and code or the functions into a single unit, into a single class, is known as an encapsulation. Abstraction refers to the act of representing essential features without including the background details or explanation. Which means abstraction is a mechanism of protecting its own data and functions from the outside entities of the class. Let's say an example for the understanding purpose. Let us say a driver is driving a car and he knows that when he presses an accelerator, the star gets fast or it moves. Okay, when he presses and brake, it just stops. The driver just knows these details, but the driver doesn't know what kind of mechanism is using inside the car to apply the brake or to accelerate the car. The driver need not know about it, and this concept is called as an abstraction, not revealing all the data to the outside members of the class. Inheritance. The mechanism of deriving one class from another class is called as inheritance. In this example, there is a class named as bird. There is a spelling mistake here. It's a bird. Okay, and it has some attributes, data and functions, and all properties and all those things. Okay, and from this class they are deriving two another classes which are called as a flying bird and non-flying bird. Okay, the class bird here is now called as a base class or parent class. From this class two classes are derived, so this is called as a base class or parent class. So the classes which are derived from this bird class is flying bird and non-flying bird, and these classes are called as a child class or derived class. Child class or derived class. The child class has the ability to acquire the properties of the bird class. The child class has the ability to acquire the properties of the parent class. Mostly, the parent class will be most general classes and the child classes will be the most specific classes, and it defines the hierarchical classification in that. And the inheritance concept introduces the reusability of code. Polymorphism. Polymorphism means the ability to take more than one form. An operation may exhibit different behavior in different instances. Let us learn about the polymorphism based on this example shown here. Here we have a class named as a shape, and it has a function named as a draw. For this shape class, it has three objects. First one is circle object, box object, and then triangle object. When we call the draw function, using the circle object means the shape class has to draw a circle. If we are calling the same draw function using the box object means it has to draw a box. Likewise, If you're calling the say draw function using a triangle object means it has to draw a triangle. So what we are trying to say is we are calling the same function named as draw, but each time it is acting or it is displaying a different output. So which means it is taking a different form based on the objects we are or based on the input we are giving, and this is called as an polymorphism. Dynamic binding. Dynamic binding means that the code associated with a given procedure call is not known until the time of the call at runtime. Here, procedural call is nothing but function call. Dynamic binding is a part of polymorphism. So the last example is applicable to the dynamic binding. In the last example, we have seen that we have a class named as shape and a function named as draw. So only at the runtime the system gets to or the program gets to know which shape it has to be drawn, whether it's an triangle or box or a circle. We do not know at the compile time. We know which shape has to be drawn only at the time of runtime based on the user request. Okay, and that is called as a dynamic binding. Only at the runtime we know what it has to be executed or what it has to be displayed, and this is called as a dynamic binding. Message passing. An object oriented program consists of a set of objects that communicate with each other. A message for an object is a request for execution of a procedure and therefore will invoke a function in receiving object that generates the desired results. Message passing involves specifying the name of an object, the name of the function, and the information to be sent. And this is explained in this example. Let's say the example. In this example, they have specified employee.salary within parentheses. They have specified an argument called name. Employee is an object here and salary is a function name, and within the parentheses they have specified the parameters or argument. So basically what they are saying is the function call is called as a message passing. And that's all for basic concept of verbs. This is Valarmati signing off. Thank you.